I've been painting ever since I was a child. I like to paint for me, not for other people. If it sells, that's fantastic. It's what I love. Hi, I'm Sophia Gray. I'm an artist, print designer and model. I've been painting ever since I was a child. I used to paint flowers and patterns on pretty much everything that I could get my hands on. All the back of my school books, on the walls, in my mum's reading books, everything. And I remember my stepmom saying to me, one day you'll be able to make a career out of this. And I was like, what do you mean? Drawing patterns on everything? How am I going to make a career out of that? And she went, print design. Fast forward a few years and I ended up studying print design at Winchester School of Art, and I realised it was a passion and I adored it. So after uni I ended up working in industry for a while for a company called Parry Murray, designing fabrics for interiors but also for wallpapers. And I loved it, but to be honest, I've never been keen on working for anyone else. I like to work for myself, and my work is quite alternative, very intricate, and yeah, not really for industry. So when COVID hit and everyone got made redundant, I decided to start up my own business, selling original paintings and also silk scarf designs. 5 years ago from now, I definitely wouldn't have expected to be where I am. I definitely wouldn't have thought that I would have ended up modelling. That was quite a random thing that happened by meeting a photographer at Goodwood, and he said you should get modelling, and I thought, well, let's do it. I needed something to fund my business as an artist, and I found out that doing photo shoots can be just as creative as painting. But yeah, looking at my life now, living in Emsworth with my new boyfriend, modelling and working as an artist is a lifestyle I probably wouldn't have expected for myself, especially when I used to work in industry. I think being an artist, you go through a lot of hard times. I think you have to be slightly insane if you want to be an artist, because it's not the norm, is it, really, to try and make a career and to make money off your passion. But probably one of the hardest times was when I got made redundant from my job in London and I had to move back to my mum's house, and I was creating art just because it was the one thing that made me happy. But I was living off the money that was made from selling those paintings, and that was a hard time for me. I was working real hard, I couldn't leave my bedroom, I was chained to the desk painting every day, and it ended up being amazing, and I gained collectors all over the world, but that was a hard time financially for the whole family, and yeah, it was a lot of pressure. I do remember my first sale. Yeah, it was an incredible feeling. I was at university at the time, and a Australian guy messaged me saying, hi, like, I love your work, could I buy a few pieces for my home? And I thought it was a joke, because back then I wasn't really selling any of my artwork, so I was like, why would he be interested in that? So I actually didn't reply straight away, but once I left university and I started creating my own pieces of work, he messaged me again and said, Sophia, I would love to commission you to do a piece. So I thought, why not? So I created this massive painting in inks and gold leaf, and it was one of my first sales, and it was actually a huge piece to sell for my first one. Originally, the way I sold my art was by doing trade shows. That was when I was designing fabrics. So actually, probably one of the most amazing feelings was selling my first lot of fabrics to a designer and to a few different companies such as Anthropology, Zara, the clothing brand. Amazing feeling. Especially having your own stand of all your fabrics there and kind of having that business transaction was incredible. But when I decided to start doing my own paintings and original artworks, I thought, well, how am I going to do it now? So I spent the time building a website. But really, probably the main platforms for promoting my artwork has been Instagram, and I've gained collectors all over the world just from being able to post on social media. One of my main accomplishments that I'm really proud of recently was I won a bursary by the Chichester Council to exhibit my work for the Chichester Art Trail, which was a great feeling, and it was amazing to get back into my art because modelling had been kind of taking over recently. But while exhibiting my work, I ended up selling one of my largest pieces to date, and I sold it for £1,000, which was a big sale for me and a real confidence boost, especially because the painting took about 6 months to complete. But yeah, I kind of miss the painting now, it's become part of me. paint other subjects. I've done paintings inspired by Venice and my travels, but there's something about flowers that's like therapy to me. I don't need to look at a flower anymore to paint it because I've done so many over the years, ever since I was a kid. So when I paint flowers, it's like almost like meditation. I lose myself in it, and I like to paint for me, not for other people. If it sells, that's fantastic, but when I create, it's to express myself on a canvas, and it's just part of who I am, the flowers. It's just what it's what I love. So obviously I was trained as a print designer and then worked in industry as a designer. But after being self-employed, I was only focusing on doing paintings on canvases and paper to sell. So I've kind of been out of the print design game for a while now. But I've had this new concept about hand painting a wedding dress and then using it to model, because I want to kind of start combining my art and modelling to make one big creative lifestyle. So I've managed to gain a wedding dress, and I've been recently painting on scraps of silk to kind of experiment with designs to see what I would like to kind of paint on the dress and what I would like to model. There's actually some over here, some examples of the silks that I've been painting. And I've been pinning it to the mannequin just to get a kind of visual of what it will look like when it's on the wedding dress. But eventually I want to create a whole collection of dresses and outfits that I've hand painted and start using them for photo shoots. If I was to talk to myself as a younger child, I would tell her that it's all going to be okay and you don't need to be super academic to have a successful lifestyle. I never thought that I could have gone to university because I struggle with dyspraxia and dyslexia, and school was not my strong point. I really struggled with that. And all I knew is I loved to draw patterns on everything, and I thought I was done, to be quite honest. And it was only later in life, through finding my voice and my style, that I realised that you can be talented in so many other ways than just academia. And I would like to focus on helping other students that struggle academically to find their voice and find their creative style. So this is me and my artwork, and I'd love it if you guys could join me along the journey to see what I create next.